In the heart of 13th century Italy, amidst a tapestry of medieval cities and the fervor of religious transformation, a child was born who would shape the course of Christian thought for centuries to come. Known to the world as Saint Bonaventure, his given name was Giovanni di Fidanza, and his journey from a humble village in Bagnoregio to the esteemed halls of scholarly and spiritual leadership stands as a testament to the enduring power of faith, intellect, and compassion. Bonaventure's early life was marked by both suffering and hope. Born around 1217 or 1221, his childhood was shadowed by a grave illness that nearly claimed his life. According to tradition, it was the prayers of Saint Francis of Assisi himself that brought the young Giovanni back from the brink, a miraculous recovery that would forever tie his destiny to the Franciscan order. His mother, grateful and reverent, dedicated her son to the service of God, and Giovanni, who would later be called Bonaventure, meaning good fortune, embarked on a path of devotion and scholarship. From a young age, Bonaventure's brilliance was evident. He traveled to Paris, the intellectual heart of Europe, where the great universities attracted thinkers from far and wide. Here, amid the cloisters and lecture halls, Bonaventure immersed himself in the study of philosophy and theology, engaging with the works of Aristotle, Augustine, and the towering minds of his time. Yet it was not mere knowledge that he sought. Inspired by the humility and spiritual fervor of Saint Francis, Bonaventure yearned to unite reason with faith, forging a harmony between intellectual inquiry and the love of God. By his mid-20s, Bonaventure had joined the Franciscan order, embracing the vows of poverty, chastity, and obedience. The Franciscans, followers of the charismatic Saint Francis, were dedicated to living the gospel in its purest form, serving the poor, embracing humility, and walking in the footsteps of Christ. Bonaventure's deep spirituality and keen intellect quickly distinguished him within the order, and he was called upon to teach and guide fellow friars. The University of Paris, at this time, was a battleground of ideas. The rise of Aristotelian philosophy, brought to the West through translations and commentaries, sparked debates over the relationship between faith and reason. Bonaventure became a leading voice in these debates, advocating for a theology that cherished both the light of human reason and the mysteries of divine revelation. He argued that knowledge of God could not rest on reason alone. It required the illumination of the Holy Spirit and a heart open to love. In his seminal work, The Journey of the Mind to God, Itinerarium Mentis in Deum, Bonaventure led his readers on a spiritual ascent. He described the soul's journey from the external world of senses, through the inner world of the mind, to the ultimate union with God, the source of all truth and goodness. For Bonaventure, every step of learning was a movement towards God, and every act of love was a reflection of the divine. His vision of theology was deeply Franciscan, rooted in humility, love, and a sense of wonder before the mysteries of creation. He saw Christ as the center of all things, the Word through whom the universe was made, and the light that guides humanity back to its Creator. Bonaventure's writings bristle with poetic beauty and spiritual insight, weaving together the wisdom of the Church Fathers with his own profound experience of God. But Bonaventure's influence extended far beyond the classroom. In 1257, at the age of just 36, he was elected Minister General of the Franciscan Order. The Franciscans were at a crossroads, torn between those who wanted to adhere strictly to the original ideals of poverty and those who sought adaptation to the needs of a growing global order. Bonaventure's leadership was marked by wisdom and tact. He worked tirelessly to unify the friars, drafting new constitutions and writing the official biography of Saint Francis to inspire and guide his brothers. As Minister General, Bonaventure traveled tirelessly, visiting Franciscan communities across Europe, mediating disputes, and fostering a spirit of fraternity. His gentle authority earned him the title, the second founder of the order, for he preserved its spirit while steering it through turbulent times. He sought to balance the call to radical poverty with the practical demands of ministry, always returning to the example of Christ, who had nowhere to lay his head yet gave everything for the love of humanity. Bonaventure's reputation for holiness and wisdom spread beyond the Franciscan order. In 1273, Pope Gregory X appointed him a cardinal and called him to assist in the Great Council of Lyons, a gathering of church leaders aimed at healing the long-standing division between the Eastern and Western churches. Though Bonaventure had never sought power or prestige, he accepted the call with humility, dedicating himself to the cause of unity and reform. The Council of Lyons was a momentous event in the history of the Church, and Bonaventure played a key role in its deliberations. His eloquence and charity won the respect of bishops and theologians from every corner of Christendom. He urged reconciliation and understanding, always seeking the path of peace. Yet the demands of leadership weighed heavily upon him, and his health began to fail. On July 15, 1274, in the midst of the council's work, Bonaventure died quietly, surrounded by those who revered him. His passing was mourned throughout the Christian world. Those who had known him spoke of his kindness, humility, and radiant love for God and neighbor. He was buried with honor, and his memory was cherished as that of a true saint and teacher. In the centuries that followed, Bonaventure's legacy only grew. His writings became foundational texts for generations of theologians and spiritual seekers. He was canonized as a saint in 1482, and in 1588, Pope Sixtus V declared him a doctor of the Church, one of the select few whose teachings are held in the highest esteem. Today, he is remembered as the Seraphic Doctor, a title that speaks to the fervor and purity of his love for God. What makes Bonaventure's life so remarkable is not only his intellectual brilliance, but also his profound humility and compassion. He taught that true wisdom is found not in prideful learning, but in love, the love that flows from God and calls us to service. For Bonaventure, the journey of the mind to God was inseparable from the journey of the heart. To know God was to be transformed by love, to see the world as a reflection of divine beauty, and to serve others with joy and selflessness. His vision continues to inspire. In an age often divided between faith and reason, Bonaventure stands as a bridge, a thinker who cherished both the gifts of the mind and the mysteries of the spirit. He reminds us that the search for truth is ultimately a search for God, and that the highest knowledge is found not in books alone, but in the living encounter with the divine. Saint Bonaventure's story is one of hope and unity. From the quiet streets of Bagnoregio to the councils of the mighty, he walked with humility, seeking always to build up the Church and to draw all people closer to the heart of Christ. His life invites us to follow the path of wisdom and love, to seek understanding and compassion in all things, and to remember that every journey, no matter how humble its beginnings, can lead us to the very presence of God.